They said the US dollar would never fall. For decades, it ruled the world, the foundation of global trade, the measure of wealth, the symbol of power. But in the shadows, a silent war was already unfolding. A war not fought with weapons, but with gold, oil, and influence. This is the story of how the BRICS alliance, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, is challenging the most powerful currency on Earth. After World War II, the world chose the dollar. It became the currency of global trade, the heartbeat of international finance. Every nation stored it, every market depended on it. The US printed trillions, confident that no one would dare question its supremacy. But power creates enemies, and the cracks began to appear. In 2009, 5 nations formed an alliance, BRICS. At first, no one took them seriously. 5 economies with different goals, cultures, and politics. How could they compete with the United States? But quietly, they grew. Together, they represented more than 40% of the world's population, and now control a larger share of the global economy than the G7. Their message was simple: why should the dollar decide our future? Then came the sanctions. When the US froze billions of dollars in foreign assets during global conflicts, countries realized something terrifying. If Washington disagrees with you, your money isn't safe. That single decision lit a fire around the world. Suddenly, nations began to ask, what if the dollar isn't the safest currency anymore? China began pushing for the yuan. Russia started selling oil in rubles. India and Brazil discussed a shared payment system. And BRICS started building what could become the most dangerous weapon against the dollar, a new global currency, possibly backed by gold. If that happens, the entire world's balance of power could shift overnight. Imagine this, a world where US sanctions don't matter anymore. Where trade deals happen without a single American bank involved. Where countries like Saudi Arabia, Iran, and even African nations join BRICS. The dollar would no longer be the only key to the global vault. And once trust fades, value disappears. But make no mistake, if the dollar falls, the world will shake. Oil prices could surge, inflation could explode, and global markets could crash overnight. American citizens would face record high costs. Countries holding trillions in US reserves could lose half their value in days. And a new question would rise: who controls the future now? While most people sleep, governments are preparing. China buys tons of gold. Russia builds trade routes through Asia. India strengthens digital currency systems. The world is silently rearranging itself brick by brick against the dollar. This isn't a sudden war. It's a slow, strategic takeover happening in plain sight. Experts warn that the next 5 years could decide everything. If BRICS launches its own stable, gold-backed digital currency, the dollar's dominance could end forever. But if the US manages to adapt, rebuild trust, and control global trade, it might survive the storm. Either way, the world we knew will never be the same again. This isn't just economics. It's the rewriting of global power. For decades, one currency ruled them all. Now, a new empire is rising. And as the silent war unfolds, one question remains. When the dust settles, whose money will rule the world? This is Global Pulse. Stay with us because the next chapter of this story has already begun.